A clay particle is classified as a piece of rock less than 0.005 in diameter. It's smaller than sand and can easily be overlooked as just another patch of dirt. Yet many don't know that this dry piece of dirt is unlike any other earth material because it plays a crucial role in our environment. Archaeologists have discovered that the earliest shards were dated back to approximately 200 BCE, which are to believe the earliest examples of writing tablets. When I was a child, one of my favorite things to do outside after a rainy day was to sit on the damp earth and mold small bird nests for the birds and tiny homes for the ants. But apart from innocent play, clay has always been a crucial role for human survival. Without knowing, I was already engaging in the old human practice of transforming dirt into something of significance. The use of clay slowly spread through the East Asia to the Middle East and Europe in early civilizations. Clay was used to mold bricks and build homes and structures. Clay vessels were used as cooking material and held essential life sources such as water, oil, and grain. Engineers have also found how clay's porosity and ability to store minerals are most resourceful by reducing water loss and chemical filtering in all sorts of production. But as human civilization has evolved over the years, we've seen a shift in how everything we do is not linked solely to survival anymore, but also to artistic and expressive purposes. It's not only for the purpose of giving wild birds and ants a place to rest, but pottery is also interwoven with culture and innovation. An American ceramic artist, Betty Woodman, understood this concept. She was born in New York, 1930, and she grew passionate about ancient international practices. She created pieces inspired by Central Italy and Japanese architecture. Her trip to Italy in 1952 sparked a lifelong inspiration to create art forms of clay. She no longer cared to make functional pieces, but fun, colorful pieces, inspired by Greek, European, and Asian colors, cultures, blending them into vibrant works, and celebrated the spirit of the Italian Renaissance. Her history and imagination behind her ceramic art connected her across time. Growing up in a Christian home, the simple pile of dust and clay resonated with me as a symbol of fragility of life and humility. Each year, my family would practice a period of 40 days of fasting, penance, and almsgiving, known as Lent. On Ash Wednesday during Mass, we would file up to the altar, and each of us would receive a cross of ashes from the priest. And as he dragged his finger across your forehead, he would repeat these words: "Remember that we are dust, and to dust we shall return." It makes me think that if we come from dirt, then maybe that patch of dust, though dry and lifeless, is a reflection of who we are. Maybe that's why we feel so connected as we mold clay within our hands. Perhaps it wasn't purely a metaphor, but almost real. In the Old Testament of the Bible, much history of ancient Israel and the prophets before the time of Jesus were told. There is this old story of the prophet Jeremiah. In this specific book, Jeremiah was a chosen prophet of God to the kingdom of Judah. God during this time was displeased by all the sinful behavior of the people, and so he used Jeremiah to warn the people to abandon their false gods and their sins. In one of Jeremiah's disclosures with God, he heard his voice instructing him to go down to the potter's house. So Jeremiah made his way to the nearest potter's house. When he arrived, there he saw the potter sitting at the wheel working with the clay. He watched and observed as the potter worked carefully with precision on his piece. But suddenly his piece collapsed and fell apart in his hands. So the potter took the clay and once more worked it on the wheel, creating a whole new piece. There God finally spoke to Jeremiah, saying, "Just like the clay is in the potter's hand, so are you in my hand, O house of Israel." In this manner, God expresses his ability to tear down or to forgive from the destruction that would come if they kept their sinful ways. Jeremiah was known as the weeping prophet because he knew of all the destruction that was destined for the people, because their hearts were like stone. He was one of the last prophets to live in the crumbling days of the nation Judah. But even so, this image of falling apart and being remade has always been moving to me. My first experience on the wheel was in my junior year of high school. There was always a free feeling in the spacious studio where things were splashed with dirt and not very tidy. My sole focus in this classroom was the clay in front of me. The first weeks of the wheel were a humbling experience. I would leave the room feeling defeated by that lumpy clay that would mockingly spin on the wheel, daring me to center it. In the commentary written by Nancy J., she describes how every potter can testify to how that gray lump staring up from the wheel has a mind of its own. Before even trying to throw the clay on the wheel, we go through certain steps. But the hardest and yet most crucial part of the process would be the centering. Our teacher would go around to each wheel and carefully inspect it by pressing his finger next to the clay to test its steadiness until it was perfectly centered. "You're the boss," our teacher would say. "You control the clay. Don't let the clay control you." As if the clay's stubbornness was not enough, it liked to play tricks and take control of itself. I remember the frustration and defeat on everyone's faces as the clay pulled their hands in all different directions. I witnessed a girl in front of me bending low in particular intent on her work when suddenly the clay consumed her ponytail, making her head spin in circles. Yet over time, as confidence filled my chest, I learned how to lock in my elbows and take control of the chaos in front of me. Ironically, I began to comprehend that making my arms ache from pressure was of no use, but instead only a firm yet gentle touch was needed. I was able to advance faster by simply tuning in to how that clay wasn't all troublesome, but also sensitive, and just needed some tolerance. The more I threw on the wheel, the more I understood Jeremiah's vision. Clay is valuable and expensive, so it's wedged, shaped, and given notable attention. It can also be stubborn. Even then, I keep trying because there's a certain satisfaction in forming something beautiful, fragile yet strong. In ancient times, pottery was a matter of survival, but now it's seen as art, and some pieces really have no purpose. It can be a useless pot that serves a purpose as long as it's beautifully crafted. There's even a traditional Japanese art called kengutsu. Instead of throwing away broken ceramics, this practice views their cracks as an opportunity for beauty. Each fragment is intentionally placed back together with gold, forming a unique and intricate design. The idea of finding beauty in what was once shattered is quite perplexing yet comforting to me. It's fascinating to imagine how someone can patiently restore something broken, and even more so that the value is held in its golden design. clay reminds me that we're all work in progress. We all go through life with questions and rough patches. I don't believe that's what defines us, though. I believe that the purpose lies in the process itself, the very act of forming, failing, and yet forming again. It's like how Michael, a pottery blogger, writes, "Those that seek God's will return to the pottery wheel again and ask the potter to continue the work he began in them." Perhaps that's what faith and art are really about. It's about coming back to the wheel again and again and letting yourself be reshaped, no matter how resistant we feel. A real potter knows the gentle work of creating from a state of degradation. Compliant or rebellious, tall standing or collapsing, the potter doesn't let go until the clay fulfills its purpose. The purpose that holds together the piece and gives it its value. Not for what it is, but in the treasure of how the surpassing power belongs to God and not to us. We are afflicted in every way but not crushed, perplexed but not driven to despair, persecuted but not forsaken, struck down but not destroyed. I give wheel throwing 5 stars.